Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So hopefully you're enjoying your Labor Day weekend, or just Labor Day in general. And those of us in the U.S., this is a holiday. Most stores are closed. Most of us are at home, resting, spending time with family. I made a video yesterday about that. The importance of family can't be understated. But I want to give you guys an update for what's going on today in the world of crypto. Unfortunately, everything I found today have been negative. Very, very negative. Starting out with Gala Games. Gala Games, to me, is still the premier Web3 gaming platform. And in 2021, it was hot. Very, very hot. Because it was founded by a co-founder of Zanga. They came out with Townstar, which is a very similar game to Farmville, and they were on a roll. They onboarded a ton of games, and they have been doing that for a while. They're getting into music, they're getting into movies, making a big splash, right? And even today, I don't think there's another Web3 company that comes anywhere close. You do have the likes of, say, Vulcan Forge, which I would say they're probably the second biggest. And they do kind of a little bit of the same thing. But yeah, there's a lot of Web3 games out there, but there's not a lot of platforms like Gala. And unfortunately, we got some very bad news. It came out that the two co-founders, or two of the leaders, executives, are suing each other. And when you hear about that, that's no good at all. Now, Gala earlier this year, they decided to do an airdrop, a V2 airdrop. Basically, they converted their V1 to V2. And it was a little controversial because not every exchange supported it. Specifically, Coinbase. Coinbase did not support it. So for people that forgot to move their Gala off of Coinbase, they're stuck with V1 tokens that are worthless. But part of the reason why there was a new token, a V2 token, was to improve the token economics. Over 600 million of Gala was burned, and it was a one-to-one airdrop. And there was more burning mechanism, I believe, added in. That happened earlier this year, but because of that controversy, it made Gala a little bit weaker. But this lawsuit today is just looking bad. Two of the co-founders are suing each other. Now, the current CEO is suing his partner basically for theft of $130 million. Okay, that's no good. So let me see. I have it on my phone here. You know, the current CEO, Eric Schurmeyer, he is suing his co-founder, Wright Thurlston, for stealing $130 million. Basically, Wright, his company owned about 45% of all Gala. And since 2021, he's been basically moving them off to exchanges and selling them. So Eric is claiming that it's theft. But his partner, Wright, is saying, no, that belongs to me. It's within my right to sell it. And then his partner countersues. Wright sues Eric back, saying that basically Eric decided to take control of the company, right, and force this new V2, right, for betterment of himself, that he gained massively from this. So the two founders are suing each other, and they may be both right or maybe both wrong, but who is getting destroyed? Well, Gala holders, because Gala, since this report, has gone down another 20%, since these lawsuits happened. And Gala is still down over 99% from its previous high. You know, stuff like this just reminds me how early it is in the space. There are some of these projects that we've come to love, we come to support, and it's been years, but still, it just makes you realize that these companies are still so small, so immature, and makes us realize that a lot of these guys have founded these companies, right? Were in it for the money completely. They were just in it for the money. That was it. It wasn't for the betterment of the ecosystem. It wasn't because of Web3. They were in it because they wanted to make money. And whenever you have a lot of money, there will be conflict, there will be arguments, people trying to take that money, right? And that's what this looks like is all about, which really sucks. So basically, bottom line for Gala is this is not a good look for them. Hopefully they can continue and move forward because they still have some fantastic games and plans in the roadmap, right? But when the two founders are suing each other and they hold an enormous amount of the overall supply, it makes you wonder if they could ever recover, right? So in my book, I have to drop down Gala way down on my book because I just don't know if they're ever going to recover back to their previous high, right? And I know a lot of you guys watching, you have your Gala tokens stuck with V1 on Coinbase. Unfortunately, I don't think you're ever going to recover that too. And that whole process seemed like it was kind of rushed, and it really sucked that they couldn't get all the exchanges to support it. So yeah, that's number one. Also, what sucks, not really. This news doesn't really have to do with anything, with any crypto project, but the gambling company, or the gambling platform, I should say, Stake.com, they were just hacked for about $40 million through some exploit. They lost money on ETH, on Polygon, on BSC through some kind of exploit. So obviously that's no good for the entire space. Again, I don't know how many of you guys are on Stake and gambling. Gamble responsibly. I don't know if that's a slogan, I just made that up, but it's an unfortunate thing. So I don't know if it's from their corporate funds or from the user side, if they're going to reimburse, I just don't know. But that's also happened. But of course, we hear about so many hacks every single year. So this one's not from a Web3 company, it just happens to be with a gambling platform that utilizes crypto. So kind of indirectly a black eye, right? But anyways, that's no good. And then lastly, another piece of news that's no good is there's a lot of tension on SBF and FTX these days. So it seems like there's an FTX linked account that holds $10 million worth of Solana has moved. So why did it move? Well, people can speculate, and people are speculating that it has to do with the fact that they're trying to reimburse people. They're still going through their bankruptcy hearing, and maybe they're selling it for USDT, for stablecoin, or for cash, or for Bitcoin, right? So people are speculating that $10 million for Solana is going to be moved, right? So don't know what the deal is. I know there's a lot of press again on FTX. Even me, I got contacted by someone that's making a documentary on BBC, and they want to use a clip of my video. And they're not the only ones. I saw someone else just come out with something else too. And there's just, unfortunately, I think as the trial nears, which is very close in October, we will see more coverage of SBF and FTX. And unfortunately, it may bring back a lot of the pain that we all suffer through, right? And there may be some collateral damage from it once again. But the market is much stronger this time around versus when FTX collapsed. So hopefully it's not going to do much. But yeah, news coverage is definitely coming back with the trial nearing. Man, it flew by, right? It flew by this whole year, and October is right around the corner, right? All right, so yeah, so like I said, very FUD-ish day with a lot of bad news, but overall, nothing has changed with the entire space. Nothing has changed with Bitcoin specifically. Fundamentals are still fantastic. I saw a metric today saying that 95% of the circulating supply of Bitcoin has not been moved within the last 30 days. Yeah, 95% have not moved in the last 30 days, right? So the number of holders are still growing. The number of Bitcoin being held is growing. The network hash rate is growing. Number of addresses are growing, right? So the fundamentals of Bitcoin has never been better. Okay, I know right now it's boring and it's FUD-ish, but you just have to have patience and believe what you're holding on, believe in the cause, and believe that Bitcoin is the best asset to hold long term. Short term, there may be volatility. Long term is definitely the right way to go.